There is no denying, guys, that we absolutely have a housing crisis on our hands. And to address this problem, President Trump has recently thrown around the idea of going from 30-year mortgages to 50-year mortgages in order to help bring down the monthly payments. So this is him on Fox News touting this plan.
Your housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years, and what it means is 50, you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit. But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates. And I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months, fortunately.
So according to him, you guys just heard it, all he thinks this means is you have lower monthly payments. It's no big deal. And obviously, it wouldn't be a Trump interview if he didn't blame Biden for something. A little advice, though. You're a year into the presidency, my guy. Blaming the previous president when you're a year in, it doesn't really look good anymore. Should probably pick up a different line. But that's neither here nor there. That angered MAGA percentage mentioned at the beginning of that interview, guys, is 100% correct in this case. This idea is a flat out terrible idea. This is 100% a big win for the banks, and it locks people into debt for an even longer period of time. So basically, if 30 years was not bad enough, that amount of debt, let's add 2 more decades to it, and maybe you'll pay it by the time you die in 50 years, but who knows? Also, guys, longer mortgages tend to be higher risk, so lenders are likely to charge higher rates for these longer mortgages. But put that to the side. I am going to show you guys a breakdown, even without charging higher rates, what this could look like for a homeowner if this idea does come to pass. And you guys can feel free to go online. There's a ton of different calculators you can use. If you don't trust these numbers, do it for yourself. Or do it yourself. This is for a $500,000 home at a 7% rate. And this, guys, is comparing how much you will pay over the course of a 50-year versus 30-year mortgage. So once again, 30 years is bad enough. That is not like a victory. That is not an amazing win because you're already paying nearly $200,000 more than what you originally took out for the mortgage. But the 50-year plan, guys, $1.3 million you are paying. So more than double the initial mortgage payment you would be paying back. That is absolutely ridiculous. And that, guys, right there is why it's a clear win for the banks. The banks are the ones who pocket that money, and everyday families who are just trying to get off their feet and get started are now trapped in debt for 5 decades, paying $1.3 million. Guys, this is a horrifically, terribly thought out plan. Or if you want to give him credit, you can say it's well thought out because he just wants the banks to get richer and people who are already doing exceptionally well to do better. You can pick your lane, but it's either a terrible idea or a good idea for a certain group of people. By the way, guys, it also doesn't address down payments, which are also a huge problem, actually, with young homeowners buying homes. It's not always the monthly payments because rent, which a lot of young people are paying, often matches monthly mortgage payments, or monthly mortgage payments often can even be less than rent, depending on where you're living in an apartment. But saving tens of thousands of dollars while you're paying thousands of dollars in rent, and maybe you don't have healthcare coverage, so you're dealing with medical debt, right? It creates such a toxic stew as to why young people are not able to own homes anymore like they used to. Now, I want to address some actual solutions, so some things that could actually bring down the price of housing and rent, and not just be a gift to banks where everyday people are just shelling out more money over a longer period of time. Number one, guys, is obvious. We need to build more homes. More inventory of housing leads to lower prices. That's Economics 101. And unfortunately, this was a huge part of Harris's agenda when she was running in 2024, was to build a bunch of homes in order to drive down pricing. What you can also do, you can convert empty real estate into housing. There's a lot of businesses that went work from home or some kind of hybrid schedule that has limited the amount of people actually in real estate or office buildings that can be transformed into housing. You guys know malls, there's declining like retail locations that can be turned into housing as well. And this is a wild idea proposed to me, but I kind of like it. Why don't we pass Medicare for all so we can stop working in or, living in this corrupt health insurance industry and use those health insurance buildings for housing? Because we don't need those guys. There doesn't need to be a middleman in our health industry who just nickels and dimes us and denies us care and charges us insane prices. So we can, take all of those buildings, pass Medicare for all, and also turn those into housing. I also, guys, do like the idea of assistance for first-time home buyers. I do understand it's a Band-Aid. It is not a root addressing the root cause, but due to the critical nature of the problem, like we need Band-Aids, we need gauze, we need tape, we need stitches, right? This housing market, we are hemorrhaging out. So when it is so dramatic, I don't mind a Band-Aid as long as you also build the more homes, for instance, to address some of the root cause. Also, guys, that first-time home buyer policy, providing, let's say, $25,000, $20,000 to first-time home buyers, this would really help shift the median age of home buyers right now in America, because right now the median age of homeowners is in the 50s. It is the oldest it has ever been. And for the first time also, the average age of first-time home buyers, guys, is 40. 40 years old is the time most people now are buying homes. This is a historic low. And it also, guys, just creates a generation of people who are going to have a very hard time, establishing any kind of long-term wealth. Because long-term wealth in the United States is largely built through like property or land ownership. But right now, most of the property ownership is at the feet of boomers who have inflated assets that they bought for pennies on the dime back 50 and 60 years ago, and they're just sitting on these inflated assets. And guys, ultimately, you will need a courageous leader. This will not happen under Trump at all, but you're going to have someone with the courage to actually take on landlords, corporations directly. For instance, banning private equity from buying homes because they're coming with cash offers often that people can just not afford. Everyday people cannot afford $480,000 cash offers, right? And that's what you have happening with a lot of these private equity firms just buying up homes and making it unaffordable for everyday families. But guys, ultimately, like kind of coming back to that, most of how we will address this, unfortunately, and most of how leadership does address this is through Band-Aids, through subsidies, through things like that. Because until we get that really generational leader who is going to take on the corruption and take on the richest and most powerful amongst us, we are going to be in this constant cycle of just, getting exploited for every possible dime. Thank you for watching and being part of a growing progressive community. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have the time, check out some of my other episodes you can see around me. Thank you.